Hey guys, we're back. This time we're taking a look at the newest Allies expansion for Red Dragon Inn, Melvyn versus Marah. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And it's a standalone two-character box here. Does require a copy of Red Dragon Inn to play, but introduces two new characters to the game, and we'll get in and take a look at them. So first thing we have is a flyer for the Slug Crew. This is so you can do organized play in stores, and you accumulate points that you can use to get bonus characters ahead of time and stuff, which is kind of cool. I did it for a little while. There's not a huge thing in our area for it, but I did do a couple of them. Everything's kind of a mess in here because I was going through sleeving things, so I'll kind of move some of this to the side for now. We'll start out with our rules flyer. And this just has the new rules for the new characters. Melvyn, the Collegium archivist. And he uses these runes that you're going to get from using your various cards. And then you can spend those runes to get bonuses to cards that you play. It's kind of a quick overview of him. Marah, on the other hand, is the Maledictor. And she gives out these malediction cards, which can be kind of annoying to other players. Basically, you're going to put these in other players' hands. They take up a card slot in their hand, and they can't be discarded by any means other than abilities that specifically tell you to discard them. Otherwise, they can be played just like the normal sometimes or anytimes cards, but they all have basically negative effects down here for them. So it takes up a spot in their hand that they can't discard, and they won't be able to draw up to their normal cards because it takes up that spot until they get rid of it. So those are kind of cool. And she also has extra cards to be used as a boss for the boss mode. So that's cool too. I don't think there's... Oh yeah, they're on the back. There's a thing for the boss battle on there. And then of course we got some new prize cards. And the new pub, which is this card here. There is a new pub for the pub crawl mode, with some new pub drinks, and then there's a little FAQ for specific card interactions on there, like there is in all of them now. Next thing we'll look at is the new pub card for the pub crawl. Sorry for the glare, they are sleeved, because we've already played a couple with these. But there's our new Swazzled Sorcerer. New tavern event at the bottom here. And if you're playing the tavern pub crawl mode, you'll be using that, and that's just one of the taverns that you can go to. Somewhere in here, we'll get to those in just a second, are the actual cards that go with that. As with any of these smaller ones, we've got a bag of the smaller coins. Does not come with the bag, I threw them in there. And then you have your fortitude and alcohol markers in there as well. I don't use those, I use the glass bead ones. Actually, I 3D printed some, which we're going to be using now, but those are nice. I think I have metal coins as well, so I never used the little coins anyway. I always preferred the bigger ones from the big box sets. They're kind of chunkier. We do have new divider cards here to go in your character treasure trove if you have Red Dragon Inn 5 or the Smorgasbox. So all the new ones come with those, but we'll get all this jumped out here. And that's all that's in there. So we'll go through these a couple at a time here. So here is the Swazzled Sorcerer. And of course, it tells you what drinks actually come in it. That's a divider for your drink decks. We have this new small deck for the pub. And there are a few interesting drinks in here. I'm not going to go through every single one. But you can pause and look through them. If you want. So those are our new drinks for the new pub. We do have some prize cards now. I may have mixed these up. I had them originally separated. Of course, I've got them all combined now. A couple of these came with this, and a couple were Kickstarter ones. I want to say those three. I think I may have this wrong, and I apologize if it is, but I think these two come with the expansion. So you have Zot's Lucky Dice. And they have the prize variant rules on the back. And the Arcane MacGuffin. Again, sorry for the glare from the sleeve. Pretty sure those two came with that. And these three are promo cards from the Kickstarter. But I am not certain on that. Maybe I'll make a note on here when I edit the video if I can find out the difference. But these three, I think, were promo cards. Somehow it works. 3 of these were promo cards, 2 came with it. So I'm just not sure which were which. And then, of course, we have a promo drink card. The Thirsty Thirsty Dragons, which is like a play on Hungry Hungry Hippos. There's actually a card that has this on it. I don't remember whose deck it was in. I think it's in Melvin's. That's all the extra stuff. Then we get into the 2 player decks here. So first we have Melvyn, and of course on the back has the small description of how he works. We have his rune cards. And each one of these has a rune. They also have a color-coded symbol down here in the bottom corner. I think the frames are color-coded as well. Not sure if there's 3 of each, I think. Those are his runes. And these are all mixed up. Usually I put them in order, but I did not on these. So, but as always, you know, half the cards or so have to deal with the basic stuff. Then you get into his more player-specific things. So in this case, you can see here, it's an action card to make someone lose 2 fortitude. If you spend a blue rune to do this, you can put the card back in your hand instead of your discard pile. He's got, this one is a blue rune plus any rune. There seems to be a good mixture in here on fortitude loss, alcohol gaming, gambling cards. I think gambling's kind of the minor one, which would make sense. But yeah, he has a nice variety of things. Looks like a fun character. I have not actually played as him. I played against him, so like I said, there's a lot of the just generic cards in there. That one's pretty mean. I know I'm going through these really fast, but you can always pause and look at any specific card if you're looking for one. There's a lot to get through here. It's a relatively interesting character. I'm looking forward to actually giving him a try. Like I said, I played against him, haven't played as him. Next up we have Marah, the Maledictor. Again, description on the back here. Those malediction cards cannot be discarded unless something specifically tells you to, as I mentioned. And then her deck is a little extra thick because we have all these extra cards. So these are her extra ones for when she's being played as a boss character. Again, they're just more powerful ones of ones that are already in her deck. So I'm going to flip through these real quick. There's a couple of each. These aren't shuffled yet, I don't think, because we haven't actually played the boss mode. And then after those, we actually have some malediction cards, and they have the malediction backs on them. There's nothing on the back to differentiate because they need to mix in with the deck, but on the front they have these dragons in the corner, which means they're meant for the boss mode. So make sure you take these out if you're playing the normal mode. Same with those cards. Those ones are for the boss mode only. Then we have her normal 2 decks. Which is her character deck here. And the malediction deck here. And these are the cards that you're going to distribute to other players. And you can see here in this start a round of gambling, you have to ante 2 gold instead of 1, or ante a gold, take control of a round. So, not necessarily bad cards, but most of them are. Detrimental in some way, shape, or form. I'm covering up the names of them there, sorry. But then they all have some kind of action at the top here. Sometimes, anytime. Maybe they're mostly sometimes. Oh, there's some action cards. I don't know if there's any anytime ones. I didn't look. There's a couple anytimes. So yeah, there's all 3 card types in there. But those are her unique mechanic. And then we get into her deck. And as always, she has some cards that are basic to all the characters, and then some that are unique to just her. And most of her cards have this effect down here. You do whatever and draw a malediction card. Those malediction cards, once they're drawn, are stuck in that player's hand. Basically a curse. As the one curse you right there. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. She does have the evil themed stuff in here because she's one of the boss evil characters. And then we have, like I said, some standard ones in there. And there's things like this. You get to look at their hand if they have a malediction card. Lots of things that play off the malediction cards, which is cool. It is a unique mechanic. I don't think anybody else has something similar to this, where you're basically flooding your opponent's hand with cards. And you could really fill up somebody's hand with 1 or 2 of these each time you play something. Granted, you probably want to spread it around, but it can really debilitate someone and force them to have to play some of those malediction cards. And hurt themselves in order to get them out of their hand. It kind of reminds me of, drawing a blank on his name now. There's a Shadow Knight or evil anti-paladin guy who has a cursed blessed sword, and every time he hits somebody with it, it gives them blessings. It's kind of similar to that, except for this is giving them curses which cause them harm, where that one, all the cards did bonus things that actually helped them. So it's the opposite of that character, but it's a very interesting character. Well, that is a look at everything that comes in the Melvyn and Marah Allies box set for Red Dragon Inn. 2 new characters, interesting themes to add to your Red Dragon Inn games, as well as a new pub for the pub crawl mode, and a handful of new prize promo cards for your prize deck. Oh, I kind of skipped over the player boards, which you probably already guessed. So you have your rune deck here, rune discards here, and your active runes in play go across the top there. And hers actually doesn't have anything special on it. It's funny they didn't even give you a place to put the malediction deck on there. That's kind of an oversight, but not that it needs a specific place. But there you go. So that was everything. I don't know why I skipped over those, but overall, they're 2 interesting new characters to add to your game. I like her mechanic. It's very interesting. His, I need to play as him still and see how that works. But it was fun to play against. And you can kind of see when they start stockpiling. These are randomly drawn, basically. As you get a card, it'll tell you to draw a rune, and you put them in front of your player board. And then depending on what cards you're playing, you spend the various colors to add effects to them. And that's kind of neat, but it is a little random. You have to save up and hope you get the ones that you want. Where hers always does something with these cards. So, anyways, that is our look at Melvyn versus Marah. Hope it helps you decide if that is something worth picking up and adding to your collection. If you're a Red Dragon Inn fan, of course, you're probably going to pick it up anyway, just to have every character. I don't know what we're up to now. We got to be close to 60 characters, so always cool. And in fact, I'm playing this again tomorrow, so maybe I'll play Melvyn there. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.